Ladies and people with beautiful hats, Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the damn internet and best hat wearer of the all-time fucking hat wearing championships. I've won every single one. This is the Kill You're Gonna Loser show. Let's fucking go. Joined by my person of interest, Imogen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So today we are going to talk about something that a comment that someone left recently that I thought would be a cool talking point. So I thought I'll get my lady on here, my chickie. Here's the question. Zed or Zed?
Z-E-D. Zed.
Z-Ed. I love that you include little bits like Imogen. So this was on a video. This was on a video that we did. I can't remember what the video was, so that's useful. But he says, I love
Qualities
that you...
to look for in a woman. It was the qualities to look
Qualities to look for in a woman. Thank you. This is why I had you on. See, I knew you were on here for a reason. So he says, I love that you include little bits like Imogen projecting anger at you when moving towns. So for context, what he's referring to is in that video, you know, I talked about qualities to look for in a woman in a relationship or when you're building a relationship. And I talked about patience. I talked about honesty and communication. I can't remember the full discussion, but basically you and I had moved towns a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And you were somewhat frustrated by how much we moved. And I think we discussed that. And I mentioned how at the time you'd been very honest with me about that. And we had big discussions. And so the point of sharing this story at the time, like in this video, was to basically say that you've always been very honest and communicative with me. And I've, you know, helped facilitate that. I've pushed that. I've said like, hey, be honest. And so I think the point that we were making is it hasn't always been perfect sunshine and rainbows. Yeah. And so we've just talked through any issues that we've had. So basically this guy is saying, I like that you share little bits like that. Essentially, I think he's saying that he's showing that we're showing that even in the difficult times, and I don't think they're difficult, it's more just like opportunities to be better or challenges to overcome, something like that. I like to look at this stuff rather than a difficulty. I like to look at it like, can we do better? Can we be better? I think it's probably the best relationship tip that I could ever give. It's like, don't see a relationship as work. This applies to casual relationships as well. Don't see it as work. See it as like an opportunity for growth.
Yeah, because I think as soon as you are looking at like any aspect of a relationship as it being an effort, you're always going to see that. When you tell yourself from the get-go that this isn't fun, you're going to continue to find reasons why it isn't rather than the opposite, because you want to be like reaffirming the thing that you already believe.
Yeah, your confirmation bias for sure.
Yeah.
So he goes on to say, yeah, exactly that. It illustrates that you can be really fucking grateful even for the difficult times. And I think that's what we said in that original video. So we'll get to this guy's actual question. That's most of the context. Again, if you want to watch that video, it was called
Qualities to look for in a woman.
Yeah, qualities to look for in a woman,
I believe.
So he goes on to say, something I'm still working on is the vulnerability involved with giving genuine appreciation. I feel like I'm being weak and awkward. Is that something you dealt with too when you started doing it? So he's obviously asking the question to me. I thought it would be interesting to get you on here as well, because this is something that you dealt with as well. Yep. And so you're going to give your perspective in a second. But to answer his question, did I feel weak or awkward when I first started giving like appreciation? Yeah, of course. Yes, especially because I came from the red pill school of thinking, as in, you know, it's weak to ever show, like, don't compliment. I even had ideas in my head of, like, never compliment a woman. If you compliment a woman, that's weak, that's, like, beta male, that's cowardly, she'll think you're a loser. By the way, when you get into the real world and you actually hit on a bunch of women and you have some sexual experiences and, you know, you meet a lot of great women and shit, you realize like no woman in the history of the universe is thinking that you're weak because you gave her a compliment or you showed appreciation. What is appreciation? Appreciation is gratitude.
Yeah, it's like you've done something or acted in a certain way.
Yeah.
And expressing that you're glad that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, hey, it's cool that you made me dinner. That's really sweet of you. I really appreciate that. Why would she be like, wow, what a little weak faggot this guy is? Like, saying thank you and appreciating me, like, oh, I don't like being appreciated. Like, no, it doesn't really work like that. But I understand why this guy is asking this question. I understand why there is sort of a hesitation or a fear or a nervousness, like a feeling of, am I being weak if I give appreciation? Let's make something really clear. What we're not saying here is to bend over backwards and just be like, oh my God, mistress, like I worship the ground you walk on, like you're the best human being ever. And even that, some women will be into that. That's just like femdom stuff. That's a whole relationship dynamic in itself. So that's not even necessarily wrong. But like, I understand where this fear comes from. It comes from, it's really just a nervousness of opening up, a fear of being fucking vulnerable. And, you know, when I first read this question and I read it out to you, one of the first things I said was like, yeah, of course you're going to feel a little awkward and weird and maybe you feel a bit weak, but you're going to feel awkward, of course. You've never done this before. Is there anything, and I said to you, is there anything that you do that is something, like a new thing that you're doing that you've never done before? Is there anything you've ever started and not felt awkward?
No. Like basically never.
You feel awkward about with everything that you start. And so the answer here, it's a very simple solution. And don't worry, we're going to talk about some deeper stuff in a second. But the very simple solution or answer to this guy's question is, yes, of course you're going to feel awkward. Now, the question he didn't ask, but the follow-on question would have been, what do I do about that? You already know the answer. You just dive in, you give yourself permission to suck, you push through, and you eventually get more confident. You practice. And so I did a video. It's on my YouTube channel, so just search for the word praise, and it was called something like how to praise a woman, something like that. It was about praise. So just search for the word praise. And I talked about how praise is a cheat code in relationships. Like encouraging your woman to do, you know, the behaviors that you like, not to train her like a fucking dog or something, but like to encourage her to do the things that you like. And she will do the same thing. If she praises you, hey, I really like that you're masculine and strong. What does that make you want to do? It makes you want to be more masculine and strong. So a strong relationship is both people sort of praising each other, showing that genuine appreciation. What I like to bring it back to is like a friendship. And I say, would it be a very good friendship if you didn't ever show genuine appreciation to your friend?
I think a lot of friendships do operate without.
That's a casual friendship. We're talking about like, would it be a deep friendship?
Sure, no.
So sure, you can have casual friendships, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the same thing here, you can have casual sexual relationships and shit. Like God knows I've had plenty of them. We still have some of them, right? Some of the girls that we meet, it's fairly casual. But if you want something deeper, or if you would like it to, if you'd like to build something deeper, or you want her to stick around for longer, or you know, any of that sort of stuff, yeah, you do have to show a bit of appreciation. Same as if you want a deep friendship with one of your mates.
Yeah, of course.
You're not going to have a deep friendship if you never show appreciation. Your mate helps you move one weekend, and you don't even show genuine appreciation. You're just like, cool, like he's not going to do that again. And so that's the cheat code. That's the answer here. Is you're going to be nervous. You're going to suck. Do it more. It gets more comfortable. Now, the reason that I got you to come on here, was not just so you could sit there while I do a, how long was that? 7 minute and 47 second
monologue?
Soliloquy. I don't think that's the appropriate word, but I fucking love the word soliloquy. What is actually, while you say Yobi, I'm going to look up what soliloquy means.
I think soliloquy is like more of a musical term.
It's like a type of poem or something, yeah. Yeah, something
like a
that.
musical solo.
I cannot soliloquy.
Never mind.
Yeah, see, I was like kind of semi-correct. Yeah, it's where a character in a drama, like theater or something, makes a lengthy speech, like a monologue. So I think soliloquy is pretty good.
Yeah, it can be a synonym, I think.
Yeah, I think I can say soliloquy. Like in Shakespeare's Hamlet, when he goes on the long rant about to be or not to be, that's a soliloquy.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I do soliloquies, but it's more when you talk to yourself, I think. I don't really talk to myself. I do, but you guys listen.
Not talking to yourself?
You fucking pricks love when I talk to these fucking bastards love this shit. So, the reason that I got you on here was not to listen to my soliloquy.
Or to define soliloquy.
I bet you none of these people knew the word soliloquy, and they're like, no, damn, bro, that's a sick word. That's a cool fucking word. You guys are going to go out there and walk up to girls on the street, and you'll be like, hi, how's it going today? You're really sexy. Did you know that I am really good at just giving a great soliloquy? Would you like me to soliloquy you? And she's like, oh.
What if she says yes, though? Then you have
She's like, oh, but she won't know what it means. She'll just hear the word, and she'll instantly like, bam, panties wet, panties on the floor. She's just immediately like, what do you want? Do you want to just ravage my body? Do you want like a wife and kids? Like, you just wife me up like immediately. You've just used the word soliloquy. I'm yours. $1 million, that's yours. I will rob a bank for you today because you used the word soliloquy. I think that happens, straight up. I know I'm someone that has said many times that there isn't some like magical line that you can say or some perfect pickup line or something. I think I may be willing to go back on that, to renege on that. It's not the right word in that sentence, but whatever. I like the word renege. Fuck it. Anyway, so back on topic. So soliloquy. Just say soliloquy to people. But back on topic.
Yeah.
The reason you're here is because with this question, that beautiful question on the screen by this beautiful gentleman called Zed. You were someone that struggled a lot with showing genuine appreciation, showing intimacy, showing any kind of affection and stuff like that. Essentially this guy's question. And so I thought, you know what, fuck it. It might actually be interesting to have you on here. Because, yes, I struggled with this too, but the answer for me was like, you just got to man up and do it and make myself do it. And it felt awkward. It felt forced. It felt really cringeworthy when I did it. The first couple of times I gave girls praise or said like, hey, I really appreciate you. I was like, that's fucking weird and she's going to think I'm weird. So yeah. I forced it, but you struggled with it, so.
And I think that the main reason why I struggled with it, because I think, kind of like you said before, the way that you have a casual friendship and the way that you operate in a more serious friendship is that you are, I feel like intimate's the best word, or you're more honest and open and vulnerable in your communication. Mm-hmm. And I think there is something, at least as somebody who was in the past afraid of being vulnerable, that can be scary. And I think that is sure. That is part of why I was scared to give like very heartfelt, genuine comments, because there is a vulnerability to it. And I know often you wouldn't think...
Yeah, there's a risk of like rejection almost.
Yeah, and I think it's not even uncommon, because we were talking a little bit about this before, but I don't think it's even uncommon for people to then be kind of weird when you give them like really heartfelt, genuine compliments.
That'll happen from time to time. People don't always know how to handle a compliment.
Yeah, and they get a bit uncomfortable, and I think because it already feels like I was being vulnerable to even say it, if it wasn't received, I was like, oh, this is just uncomfortable and awkward. But it was probably around the time that I met you that I was working on that and working on giving compliments and even giving you compliments, because it's almost as if I didn't want to disclose that I liked you.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that going on, maybe with this guy's question as well, but most people that ask these or that have these fears, it's almost like a fear of, but what if they know I like them? Or what if they think I like them more than they like me?
Yeah, it's almost, that sense of wanting to appear like nonchalant, or like I have lots of options and you're a bit aloof, and
which
it's like...
is so funny, because like if you stop and think about it, is it possible, you and I have had this conversation before, is it possible for both people in a relationship to care about each other exactly equally and love each other exactly the same and have the same feelings and everything to be like exactly the same?
No, of course not.
Despite all the feminists that would tell you that they want equality, it's like, it's literally not possible.
One person's always going to like the other a little bit more, but
one person will have slightly more, I don't like this word, but like power or say, or like one person will feel like they rely on the other person a little more than the other. Like that's you try and make it as equal as you can, but it won't always be that. And so the idea of like, it's almost like a game of chicken, as in when people are at the start and they're afraid to share their appreciation or gratitude. And again, we're not saying you have to write her a soliloquy or like give her a poem, I'm proud of myself, or give her like a poem or, you know, a bunch of flowers or something. Do that shit if you want to, but like, we're not talking about that. We're just saying a bit of appreciation, a bit of praise, a bit of like, hey, it's really cool, you know, I really like you, or I love hanging out with you, or if it's early days, just say like, yo, the sex we had the other week was like fucking amazing, like you're really amazing, but you're really cool to hang out with, I like you, I like hanging out with you. It's like, we're only talking about little bits and pieces, but I think people have this game of chicken where they're like, you go first. I don't want to go first. You go first. And then it's like, well, I appreciate you. Shit, was that too much? Fuck. I appreciate you too. And you're like, okay, fuck. Like that was close. She almost like figured out that I'm fucking weak and strange and that I like to give compliments to people. What if she finds out I really like to give? What if
not even give compliments? Like it's a fear that like you'll find out that I like you. That
like I went too far. And what you realize when you get a little more dating experience and sexual experience and just, I guess let's just call that sex and dating experience, right? When you get a little more experience, you realize that there's almost always a mismatch. Like, let's just say there's always a mismatch. Like, at this point in time, a lot of the girls that you and I sleep with are very inexperienced. Mm-hmm. Like, we tend, you know, I've talked about this before, we like inexperienced girls. We like to mentor them, we like to teach them BDSM and show them the ropes. Literally, pun intended, yeah, like we haven't made that fucking joke 700 times.
You say we.
Me. So we're like inexperienced girls, and some of them are virgins. When we sleep with them, no matter what, no matter how much we like them, they are always going to like us more than we like them. No matter what. We've slept with, fuck knows what, like 40 or 50 women, you and me together, at this point in time. I stopped counting somewhere around 25.
Yeah, actually, I have no clue.
That was a long time ago. So it's probably like 40 or 50 women at this point that we've slept with together.
Sure.
It isn't possible for us to like one girl as much as she would like us if she's a virgin. And that doesn't mean we don't really like her. That doesn't mean we don't understand that she likes us more, so we're responsible with that. We don't, and that's the point. Like, if you're just okay with the fact that one person might like the other one a little bit more, nothing bad happens. Like, if you pause, and this guy's question, if you pause and say, what bad thing happens if I like her a little more than she likes me? Like, nothing. The worst that happens is she goes like, hey, I feel like this is moving a little bit too fast, or something like that.
Yeah, we want different things.
Yeah, and you just
something.
go like, okay, that's cool.
But
right,
you're not.
I hope you have a good life. Like, I'm gonna go find some. And it's not. That's not even the end of the fuck. It's not like she'll break up with you because you gave her too many compliments.
Yeah, a big point being that I don't think you're having that conversation if you give a few genuine compliments.
Correct. And if you ever do, then that's really not a good fit for you. If you can't give her even just little bits of genuine appreciation without her going like, oh, something's wrong, and I've made this point before. Nothing against that woman or anything, but that's probably not the best fit for you. She probably doesn't want the same thing you want. She probably has some baggage or some uncertainties or some fears around intimacy and opening up, and I'm trying to phrase this in a nice way, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. It's like the rest of us would call that someone with baggage, and maybe that's not the person that you want to hang out with. Flip the genders and this conversation is a lot easier. If a woman was dating a guy and he just like could not handle her appreciation or something, everyone in the world would say like, oh, that guy just isn't ready to commit to you. Like, you deserve more commitment. Go find someone else. Like, everyone would say that. And so the same thing here. It's like if a woman literally thinks that it's weird and awkward that you give her some compliments, again, like a couple of compliments, don't sit here giving her 500 compliments on the first date. Yes, that might be a little bit too much. But if you're being genuine with your appreciation and your gratitude, and she literally can't handle that, doesn't that say more about her than you? And that's not saying that she's a shit person or she's a fucking loser or something. I'm not saying that at all, but that would be more a reflection of her and her mental space and what she's able to deal with and where she's at. It's got nothing to do with you.
And I think that would be incredibly rare. I think most
could you imagine like you give some girl some compliments and shit, you're like, yeah, I really like hanging out with you, you're really cool. And no, to be fair, there have been a couple of girls that we have where I've been genuine with appreciation and stuff like that. And they're almost always very clear about it. Like, remember there's that girl in particular when we first moved here, and she had just gotten out of a breakup 2 weeks earlier. The really skinny one with like the puffy tits.
Yeah.
We went over to the shopping center and we made the little clay.
Yes, okay, no, I do remember.
And so that girl in particular, and I don't think it was just because I gave her some fucking appreciation and shit, but she was definitely awkward with like appreciation and just honesty and stuff like that. And so she doesn't see us, and she basically ghosts us. Why? Because she's fucking like, I'm saying this in a nice way, but not in a good fucking headspace. She had just gotten out of a relationship. Remember on the first date, she showed us her Spotify playlist. Remember I said we were talking about music we like or something.
Yes.
And I said like, oh, well, this is an easy answer. Rather than us sitting there saying what music we like, just show me your Spotify playlist. And she's really awkward and cagey about it. And she goes like, oh, okay.
No,
and I take it off her. And literally all she's fucking listening to, she's made like 20 fucking playlists.
Didn't she like get a playlist
she's
with
made
like
a couple
some
of playlists.
Depressing name?
She's
like...
played a playlist of like, my life is sadness and suffering. Like, and fair enough, she just got out of a breakup, right? I'm not shitting on this girl, but literally all the music was like, my life is sadness and depression. And I even pointed out to her, I was like, oh, remember I literally said like, oh, sweetie. Like, I was like, are you okay? Like,
specifically, but
I was literally like, are you okay? Like, and she's like, yeah, I'm just, heartbroken. And like, I was like, all right, well, you want to fucking talk about it? We talked about it for a little bit. And that's the point. That's the only girl who's ever going to be awkward with you being genuinely appreciative or being honest. She was awkward with the honesty, Like, I'm very honest and upfront. She was awkward with that. And it's like, she has a good fucking reason. She was with this guy. It was her first relationship since they'd been in high school. They've been together for years. I don't know how many years, but several years. It was 2 weeks ago that they broke up. She's in a weird fucking vulnerable place. Yeah, if you give that person some genuine appreciation, they might be fucking weird and awkward about it and not know how to handle it and not see you again. Like, we slept with her once and then she just didn't contact us again. It's like, yeah, that's fine. That might happen. But again, that's more a reflection on that person. If someone genuinely can't take your actual appreciation and you're being reasonable with it, again, you're not throwing 7,000 compliments at her immediately. Oh my God, princess, you're the most beautiful woman who's ever lived. Every other woman is a stupid slut compared to you. I would cut off my... Like, what's that saying? I would suck your dad's dick just for a taste of... Remember that one? That I showed you on Reddit?
I think you did show me that, yeah.
Where it's like, you say to her, like, I would suck your dad's dick just for a chance to... What is the rest of the saying? I can't remember. It's a great saying. Someone leave a comment below. Please, 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 someone go and look that up and tell me what the saying is. It's like, I would suck your dad's dick for a chance to taste what made you, or something like that. Please, someone go and leave a comment below. They're going to be like, Andy, you just made this up. You just want to suck this guy's dad's dick. Maybe.
No, I have heard. I think you showed me something.
Like that. Anyway,
sure.
The point is, as long as you're not being over the top with your compliments and going crazy, there aren't many people that are going to take them badly and think that you're weak. I understand that this guy's been pretty self-aware with his question. He's literally saying, I'm working on the vulnerability here. I feel like I'm being weak, or I feel a bit awkward. So he's understanding that it's coming from him, and yes, it is, and he's projecting that. It's not like he said, a bunch of women say that I'm weak and awkward. That won't happen. So understand that a lot of it, or all of it, is in your head. It's you believing that it's weak. And that will come from a million different places. Like, let's go down the path of the fucking... what's the opposite of the feminists that no one gives a fuck about? Men's rights activists. I'm probably getting the fucking whole channel deleted because I just said that phrase. They're not popular. Holy shit. They're literally like the feminists, but for the men. They're like,
not happy.
We just don't... The male suicide rate is so high. 9 out of 10 deaths in the workplace are men. Like, these are issues we need to fix. And
nobody's getting angry at that.
People fucking hate men's rights activists. Are you serious? Okay, we'll do a video at some point. Like,
okay, I think if you label it men's rights activists, but if you say something to like anybody on the street and be like, "Did you know that a lot of men are committing suicide?" They're not going to be like, "Oh, fuck them."
These guys are the most like nice guy. Like, literally go and read their fucking websites and shit. They're just like, they're like, we understand feminism is like important to women and we support that, but we also want to make sure men's voices are heard because like men get ignored and men don't have a place, which is all like fucking true. And everyone's just like, you need to fucking like, no one gives a fuck. Like, you need to just man up and like, you need to look after the women. Like, why are you fucking distracting from feminism, bitch? Like, you're part of the patriarchy. And they're like, well, look, hey, we're not part of the patriarchy. Actually, the patriarchy kind of ignores us. Like, if there was a patriarchy, it'd be, we're getting the shit end of that deal. So, like, can we, maybe we just have a little bit of discussion? Like, we'll talk 99% about feminism and just, like, can we just have, like, a little side? Can we get a little side word in? And they're like, how fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? We need to talk about women, Ukraine, COVID, and... what's the fucking current thing? Trump, he's shit. And
I don't think people are still
fucking how
the Queen died.
Pineapple should not be on. The poor, beautiful Queen, she's just an absolute fucking godsend of a human being. Never did anything wrong, never involved in any controversies. Nothing weird there. Prince Andrew, great human being, wonderful. Epstein, what's Epstein? Don't understand this fucking video. Is so just like getting removed from YouTube. Back on track. Let's get back on track. We've gone down the conspiracy theory, and now I've said conspiracy theory. We're all fucking just, this channel is getting deleted. All of you are getting raided by the FBI. I'm really sorry about that. You're getting anal probed. I'm so sorry. Soliloquy. Back on track. That was my soliloquy. So, weak and awkward. What the fuck point was I on?
Well, I think like circling back to what you were saying before in terms of like how to actually deal with the fact that you're feeling like you said, it is just a practice thing. And I know that when I was first working on this sort of stuff, you just have to like do it 100 times, and it's going to feel like shitty and awkward the first few times, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, but at some point it feels far more natural. It's like before I met you, well, you were the first person that I've been in a relationship with. You were the one that prompted me to start using like terms of endearment, like honey or sweetheart.
Yeah, you didn't want to use any terms of endearment.
Yeah, it made me really uncomfortable until about
For sure.
6 months in. You had actually like made the comment of like, it would be nice if you did this, and
Yeah, I encourage you to.
yeah. So at the start, it was like very similar to this. Like at the start, it was very awkward, and I felt very uncomfortable. It felt unnatural, and then I just did it 1,000 times, and now I always call you sweetheart and honey and darling and baby doll.
Fuck buddy.
No, you're the one with the
Big
weird
dick
names.
daddy. You call me that. What else do you call me?
Just terms of
Papa.
endearment. But that only came about
You
because
call me mummy.
I'd practiced
Daddy.
it and let myself do it 100 times, and also seen that it
Captain
didn't
Big Dick.
have like it had a positive, like I always got a positive reaction from you, and it's not as if you really it was a big effort not to
I want to keep interrupting
distracted.
with like swear words. Yeah, for sure.
but it was always received very well, and I think especially when you are giving genuine compliments or
Yes,
appreciation to
yes.
someone, it is going to be received well, and you just need to practice
and again,
that
if it's
quite
not, that's more about the other person.
correct.
And not shitting on the other person, but it's just, hey, they're not that honest, or they're not comfortable with compliments or whatever. And remember that some people will open up in the same way that it might take you a little bit of effort to not feel so weird with genuine appreciation. It might take the other person a little bit of time to be okay with receiving that appreciation. And for take a step back and zoom out as to why you would want to show genuine appreciation. Obviously, it builds intimacy, it builds trust, even in a casual sexual relationship. Again, go to my channel, search for the word praise. Assuming my channel is still up after this video, go and search for the word praise, and you'll see why I talk about like why to praise your woman and why you want a woman that will praise you too. And by the way, like if you, as I said in this video, if you praise her, she'll just start praising you back. Like you didn't praise me at the start because like you're not fucking comfortable with that, but you got a little bit of courage to start praising me after I praised you. And yeah, it's basically a relationship builder. Even in a casual sexual relationship, don't you want the woman that you're sleeping with, your friends with benefits, if she does certain things that you really like, don't you want her to keep doing those things? Yes, obviously. If you don't tell her that you like those things, how the fuck is she gonna know? She might do them every now and then because like randomly, or because she feels like it. But if she knows like, oh yeah, he really likes when I fucking, I don't know, tickle his asshole and lick his fucking dick fucking hole, lick his urethra. Like if you don't tell her like, hey sweetie, I really like, or maybe not sweetie, you just started sleeping, you go, hey listen lady, I really like when you tickle my fucking butthole and lick my urethra. That's just like hot as shit. I love when you do that. Then she knows like, oh shit, I'm gonna keep tickling his butthole
Stop saying it.
and licking his urethra. Why? It's important. I'm trying. This
I
I
don't think it
actually
is
got you on this
important.
podcast to work up the courage to tell you that I like you tickling my butthole and licking my urethra.
Okay.
Will you live on camera, straight to the camera, straight to the audience?
No.
Will you marry me?
You don't want to get married. I
That's
would, but you don't want to get married.
That's true. Would you tickle my butthole and lick my urethra?
Sure.
I don't want it. I don't actually want that. No, to be fair, guys, if you've never had your urethra licked, I'm just talking about licking the whole of your dick, like where the actual fucking pee comes out. Make sure she does it gentle. It's actually insanely sensitive. Like, she obviously can't stick her tongue in it. She's just licking, like, around the area. But it's, like, insanely... It feels like fucking electricity or some shit. It's insane. If you guys have never had that, ask the next girl that you sleep with to do that. Any ladies listening, is there a spot on your woman that...
No. Not really.
Sorry, ladies, go fuck yourself. So,
Not like that. No.
buy a vibrator, bitch. Yeah. There was a point to be made in this podcast. It's been made. You all appreciate that point. Yeah, the point is praise your partner, at least a better sex. I think sometimes people, and again, go watch the video on praise where I talk about all this stuff in much more detail, but I think sometimes when people hear the words like giving appreciation or compliments or praise, what a lot of guys get caught up in is they hear the phrase like, isn't that demeaning, or isn't that nice guy, or isn't that like belittling myself, or isn't that like, putting her on a pedestal or something? And it's like, no, not if you do it in a fucking... Think about this. If you're walking down the street and there's a homeless person and they say, hey, can I have some money? And you in your bank account literally have $5 in your bank account. Like, you're terrified. You don't know how you're going to pay the rent. You don't know how you're going to buy dinner tonight. And you look inside your wallet, you dig out, and you have like fucking $5. You have $5 in the bank and $5 in your hand, and you go like, oh, okay, I guess here's the $5. And then you're like, shit, now I only have $5 in my bank account. How the fuck am I going to eat today? How am I going to pay the rent? Like, we would call that maybe not the wisest decision. Do that if you want to, it's your money. But like, I think a lot of people could see that that's like not coming from a place where you have a lot to give, right? And maybe that's not the healthiest for your self-esteem or the healthiest for your current situation. However, if you had $1 million in the fucking bank and you're wearing like fucking expensive clothes and, you know, you got your pimp clothes on, your beautiful boots, leather boots, dressed like a fucking just, you know, you're out to get some pussy tonight or some dick if that's what you like.
You went to say dick, I saw it.
I went to say dick, yeah. Why was I going to say dick? My immediate thought was like out to get dick.
I think you've been talking a lot about male genitalia this
Yeah, we have been focusing a lot on penis.
video.
I apologize to anyone who does not have a penis. I know this was very like ableist of me, penist of me. Love you ladies, love you non-penis people. So yeah, imagine you're rich as fuck. That's the point of the story. You have a bunch of money. In your wallet right now, you have like $4,000 because you're a psycho and you walk around with $4,000 in your bank, in your wallet, asking to get robbed. You'd be very popular with homeless people though. You'd always have money to give to pop. So that would actually be a cool idea. You bribe homeless people to be like, I don't know, your army or something, your gang, your groupies. And so a homeless guy goes, can I have some money? If you hand him $5, that's like, that fucking takes nothing out of you. In fact, it would be weird not to. And again, it's your money. You don't have to. I didn't give money to homeless people for the longest time. And right now, I don't give it to homeless people most of the time. Sometimes I do. But the point is that it wouldn't take anything for you to give the money. No one would say like, bro, you're belittling yourself or, you know, taking something from yourself or you're losing something or, bro, that's very like weak and passive of you. You're being used. Like no one would talk in those terms because the point is you have a ridiculous amount to give. I just realized the entire video has been us small. There you go. You can have us big. This guy's question we've pretty much answered. No one would say that's you taking anything away from yourself. They'd be like, yeah, you got tons to give. Of course you can give. It doesn't hurt you to give it. And so the same thing with compliments. If you're coming from a place of like, I like myself, I have pretty healthy self-esteem, and there's plenty of videos on my channel on how to improve your self-esteem. But if you come from a place of like, yeah, I like myself, I'm pretty good, and you're giving compliments to people, that's you giving something when you have a lot to give. However, and you have no expectations. So let's be clear about that. You know, I talked about that in the praise video. Give compliments, give appreciation with no expectation. Like don't expect anything back in return. However, if you don't like yourself and you don't have much self-esteem and there isn't much inside yourself that you like, if you're giving a bunch of compliments, yeah, it's not coming from the same place. It doesn't carry the same energy. It doesn't have the same vibe. There's an expectation. You're trying to get something usually when you give a compliment from that place. You're like, I hope I give compliments and I hope she'll keep seeing me because I'm really scared that she won't. So I have to give lots of compliments to keep her around. It's like, yeah, that doesn't feel very good. That can feel weak. So with this guy's question, you know, again, he asked, is it weak or I'm worried that it might feel weak. How can it feel weak if you're internally strong? The only way it can feel weak is if you don't feel strong inside yourself. And so to build that up, stoicism, you know, plenty of books that I've recommended. Loving What Is by Byron Katie. I Need Your Love, Is That True? Another book by Byron Katie. Letting Go by David Hawkins. Just any of these books, really. Any of the books that I've... Even books like No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, I think. Any of these kind of books that build your self-esteem up. Any Stoic philosophies, Marcus Aurelius, any of that shit. Build yourself up. And then when you're coming from that place, any compliments you give are genuine. You're not losing something giving the compliments. In fact, you're gaining something. Because you feel good, she feels good. It's like you're giving. So
Yeah.
I would look more at the energy when you give the compliments. And if you feel like it's taking something away from you, or if you feel like you're giving the compliment but you're expecting something back.
And I would also say maybe don't misinterpret a nervousness to give a compliment as it not coming from a good place.
Sure, like sometimes you might just be nervous. That's fine. But I guess maybe a better, more useful way of saying this is read those books I just recommended. Again, rewind the video 30 seconds and listen to all of them. Read those books, you know, listen to Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Read a lot of Stoic philosophy. Read some Epictetus. Like any of these guys are just the old school, like Stoics. Absolutely great. Byron Katie, she's modern. She's still alive now, but she's a Stoic. She's a female Stoic. She's just absolutely a fucking Stoic. Read any of that stuff and get your self-esteem I mean, fuck, man. Even some of the red pill philosophy, as much as I don't agree with everything over there, a lot of that is Stoic philosophy and building yourself up, going to the gym, all that basic tenets that we all kind of know. You know, applies to women as much as men. Build yourself up, and then any compliments or appreciation you're giving will be coming from a healthy place. It won't be coming from this like needy place. And at the end of the day, if you bring it all back to like abundance mentality, which is just if things don't work out with this woman or with this person, I know there's more people out there for me. There's plenty more fish in the sea. That's abundance mentality. And if you have that, it's like you won't be coming from as needy a place anyway. You'll give the compliment. If it's not well received, yeah, it's okay. Like if things don't work out with this person, I'll find someone where it does work out. That's all right. Anything else you would like to add, little lady, to my soliloquy?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Practice giving compliments.
Yeah,
most people lack it.
Yeah, most people will take it quite well. And as I said before, this guy's quite self-aware. This guy Zed or Zed or Zeddy or Zaid is quite self-aware in that he realizes it's a feeling, like he's feeling awkward, he's feeling weak, which is really just another way of saying it's a belief. Like you believe on some level that it's weak to give compliments or to show a bit of appreciation. Again, we're only talking about little stuff, and he knows that because it was on the video of like qualities to look for in a woman. And I think I just said something like, you know, I like to throw out a bit of appreciation and gratitude every time you do something. So then you go like, cool, I'll keep doing that. And then I'm like, sweet. Now I get more of the behavior I like. You feel good when you do the behavior that I like, that you're already doing anyway. Win-win.
Yep.
And so we're only talking about that. We're not talking about you sitting there writing her a fucking love letter. Oh, do that if you want to, but we're not talking about like over the top insane amounts of compliments or you texting her every day, hi beautiful, hi gorgeous, how's your morning, how you doing lovely, I love you, and you haven't even been on a date yet. We're just talking about like a bit of appreciation. Yo, the sex the other night was fucking amazing, you're really hot. Yo, that was like one of the best blowjobs of my life, that was incredible. Yo, you're really sexy, I love the way you moan. Just like little bits and pieces. So if you want, this is the part of the video where we do awkward fucking segue. So awkward segue to my coaching. If you want me in the beautiful hat, and I promise you I'll wear the hat when I do coaching calls.
You got lots of hats.
I have lots of hats.
Wear a new hat
Probably
every
my
call.
best selling point. But if you would like coaching, I offer group coaching and one-on-one. I'll leave a link in the description below. And as always, gentlemen, go out and what do these beautiful non-hat wearing motherfuckers need to do?
Crush your goals.
Crush your goals and write a soliloquy.